Hello, amazing souls. Welcome back to another episode with me on my channel Cosmic Contracts with Princess Starlight. The story I'm about to share it's kind of a lot of like two, three synchronicities, and you might say that it's just a coincidence and might not agree to it, but still I have to share regarding the lizards. So yesterday I was doing this podcast and I was talking about lizard, and they have a lot of wisdom, they have an abundance, they come into your life when there's a creative blockage, you're going through a period of a lot of anxiety, and they're there to remind you that you need to break out of the pattern and find your creative side and fulfill your soul's purpose. And what happened today was after my daily workout, and I was kind of sleepy and also doing the meditation at the same mode. So you reach that zone, right, where you are kind of in a very deep state but not sleeping, right? Sleeping but not sleeping, that kind of a deep state. And what I started seeing is that there are these hood people, okay, these hood people, they are wearing these hoods and they are lizard people. Like they have the body of a man and they can walk like man, so they are these lizard hood wearing people. I would say like humans or humanoids, I can say them, right? And what I see is that in the surface, like there's a planet, and it seems like the surface seems kind of like the surface of the Jupiter. And instantly the vision zooms in and there's like a mountain, and I get inside this mountain. The vision that I'm seeing is that I go inside the mountain, and there's like this entire community of lizard people. And then all of a sudden the vision shifts, and I'm seeing like there's this spaceship kind of a thing, or a little outside of the planet. And they are they, these war machines. I am really not sure. The weapons from there, they keep firing, and they're firing something. And here is the mountain, and I see this picture, and clearly I see these hooded people, and they have these tails as well. So this was the vision I saw, and then I woke up. But what amazing thing happened is that I recently am reading this book by Mr. Sri M, right? Apprenticed to the Himalayan master, and he is Mr. Sri M. So he has written the autobiography. This is the autobiography, and he's telling about his time with his master and the period of training that he has gone through. And the amazing part is, today I reached this chapter, and please allow me to read it to you because this is very, very beautiful, and you might not agree or disagree. You might agree, disagree, but that's what even the master says. So he's talking about one of the incidences. So he keeps sharing, throughout the journey, all the important parts that he experienced or he went through. So this one is very beautiful, that he is somewhere in the Arundhati caves. They're spending the night, and and what he sees is he was sleeping in the cave, and his master is there next to the Duni. Duni is like, a fire burning there. So they burn the fire every day. They belong to the Nag sect, and they are said that Nath sect. I mean, sorry, it's Nath, Nath, and that is that is the sect that is focused on the Shiva, the Shiva sect. So he says that he sees something, like a full moon, but it's not a moon, and it's, two clouds are parting away, and this moon is coming, but it's not the moon. And what happens is, like a thunderclap, it comes. And what happens is, like, next to the Duni, like, he is full of fear, and this fireball, like, it comes. And if you can read, like, he sees that, um, where did it go? Yeah, here. So landed right on the dhuni with the sound of the thunderclap, and then it splits open into two. And what he sees is that after the split, he sees that there is a large snake with a hood like cobra, glowing electric blue as if made of transport violet glass like material with electric filaments inside. And then afterwards he says, the Babaji, the guru is not, he is there. So kind of he knows that, he was supposed to be there. And then he says, to Mr. Shri M that you need to bow down, and he is the deputy chief of the Sarpaloka. And then they have this meeting, and he goes away back into that ball. And then obviously now he's very curious. He's like, I will never, I promise I'll never share this with anybody, but can you just tell me what happened? So he says, Babaji says that in future you're going to write an autobiography and you will talk about it, and therefore people might not trust you, they might take it as fiction, but you have to share. And here he shares that, in the Milky Way, there exists a stellar system with 7 planets and 18 moons. So the 7 lokas, the 7 up and down worlds, right? 7 above, 7 below, like that. I guess that's the 7 planets. And one of these planets is called Sarpaloka, and it's entirely inhabited by highly evolved hooded snakes, right? And the serpents are called the Naga Devtas. And then he talks about the supreme head of the Nagas, is the five-hooded golden serpent known in ancient Indian texts as Ananta. And I was just discussing this with my mother, and she said that recently it seems that some people who there is the Ananta caves a little ahead of um, which she told me this name. So all those 5 tirthas in the Badrinath side, there only it's a little above that, and it's called Ananta Caves. And there's a river in which it said that he is there. So recently, it seems that she was telling me, she shared the story that recently people saw him coming a snake. They saw a snake coming out of the water, and it was glowing a lot. So if it is a golden snake, then obviously it has to glow. So I'm not sure how far the story is true or not, but then I thought I'll share it with you. Then thousands of years ago, when humanity is still evolving at this stage, but the Sarpaloka, they are in contact, and the wise ones would come down here, and they were in frequent touch, and they spent long time of period teaching and educating human beings. Now if you have seen the series about the lizard people on Gaia, there also they talk about that, the lizard people, they were the ones who brought the wisdom, they would impart the wisdoms, they were the teachers. And we would even in Lemuria, we would circle around them, we would sit, and we would gain the wisdom, the knowledge from these people. And they were like, the prime teachers of imparting wisdom about universe, how it worked, and all the ancient knowledge. They are very wise people. So they also taught about, they were the ones that talked about the kundalini energy. And that's why hence the kundalini, it's in the serpent shape. Even Patanjali, not to be confused with the recent Patanjali of Baba Ramdev, it's taken from the main Patanjali sutras. And even that person is said to be, Naga. So he's therefore depicted as half Naga, half human. And even on the pharaoh's head, the snake coiled around Lord Shiva. So these are, snake is the symbolic representation of wisdom and power. And the Nagas have throughout ancient cultures been here imparting their wisdoms. But now what happens is that, as humans started to grow with this knowledge, becoming powerful, they obviously became self-centered, and they wanted, for the small things, for personal gains, they were ready to, do bad things and even kill. So they started killing the Nagas, and there was a large massacre of Nagas. And that's when, the supreme Naga chief, he decided that, the Nagas would be called back to the Sarpaloka. And that's when, ships were sent, and overnight, the transportation happened. But what happened is that some, or like most of them went, but some decided, like the old ones, or who did not listen to the supreme commander's command, they decided to stay back on earth. And then they inbred, and therefore we have the descendants, and they claim, many of them say that we are the descendants of Nagaloga, especially if you go to Sri Lanka, Cambodia, India. And there are many more, actually, not just these few areas, but mostly you will find Naga people everywhere around the world. In all the ancient culture, religion, the mention of serpent people is there. It cannot be like taken away. And then they say that, he says that, they obviously, when few stayed, and then they inbred, and their line follows. But today people, they do not, the descendants do not have the power and wisdom that is equivalent to what the original Nagas had. And that's, like mixing of the blood, so the pure blood was not there anymore, so the DNA is definitely not going to work. Even Shri Sai Baba, it said that, he went there, he, for 3 or 4 days he was just not there, and people thought he's actually dead. But then he came back and he said that, he was in some other world and dealing with a matter. So everybody, like, and he was there to resolve a matter, but then Babaji says that, the matter was not solved then, and therefore, the deputy chief of the Sarpaloka, what was his name? Okay, so the deputy chief, that's when he has come to meet Babaji. So this entire 2 pages, right? It talks about the life on other planets, and he also says that in future, so he is visiting Babaji, I think in his 90s or something. And by then, at that point, people are still not open to, other races and life on other planet. But he says that in future, by the time you write this, scientists and people would have started to claim that, find, if they were finding water and life, then that means there is life there in the cosmos. So the concept will be fairly accepted. So it's all interstellar, aliens, the snake people, the lizard people, whatever you want to call them. And even in the Gaia, when they are talking about Atlantis and Lemuria, they are talking about this race that became very wise spiritually as well. They started using the power of the body and highly evolving themselves, and they can live for, hundreds and hundreds, perhaps thousands of years. And even Babaji mentioned in this autobiography, he's a couple of 100 years old, or maybe something, like he's above 100 years for sure. And the main Guruji, main Babaji, I will show you is there's a picture, very beautiful. Yeah, he. So it said that Sri Guru Babaji, he looks like 16 years, but he has been here for around 3 or 400 years or so. So he says that, through Kaya Kalpakriya, you can make your body function, and with healthy diet and nutrients, you can make your body function more than, you can use your body to live beyond 100 years, but death has to come anyhow. So maybe you can extend your life with these practices. These are scientific yogic practices, but you can definitely, one day you will have to go, you have to complete this incarnation and leave. So this was all about spirituality, aliens, different planets, interstellar, and all this combined and packed in this 2 pages. And the meditation that I had, it just blew my mind. So for me, it's not coincidence, but I just wanted to put my thoughts out there. If you had some similar experience, if you have some story to share, do let me know in the comment section. Lots of love and light, Princess Starlight.